I already know how to fight. I'm the greatest. Hi everyone, welcome back to another Scotty Karate video. Today we're going to be going over some statements and the arrogance of people that you'll run into in the world and maybe what to do with it. So what do I mean by that? So you'll run across people and you'll be talking to them. Say you're first meeting somebody, eventually you get around to it and you say, oh, well, what do you do for a hobby? You know, what do you like to do on the weekends? What do you do in your spare time? And they'll say, you know, play soccer and baseball and all the things people do. And then because hopefully you're talking to someone who's polite, they'll go, what do you like to do? And then if you're like me, martial arts are a big part of your life. So you say, oh, I do martial arts. I do karate. And inevitably you'll get them and they'll instantly go, insert random statement here. And it'll be the dumbest thing you've ever heard in your life. Let me give you an example. So you'll be like, oh, what do you do? Oh, you do karate? Oh, well, I know crowbar, or I know pool cue, or, man, when I get mad, I black out and people get hurt. The eye roll is so hard. I can't even do it physically. It is so hard. Now, when I was a kid, when I was young, teenager, early 20s, I would come across these dudes and I'd just be like, hey, what do you do? And they'd be blah, what do you do? Oh, I do martial arts. Oh, yeah? Well, you know, when I get mad, people get hurt. Yeah. What? So when I was younger, I'd hear this ridiculousness. I know crowbar. I know baseball bat. Oh, man, if I have a pool cue, you ain't got a chance. What? And so as a kid, I'd be like, no, I train how to defend against that. That wouldn't help you none. You should really not rely on a pool cue, because what if you're not in a pool hall when you get a fun? Like, all these things go through my mind. And in my head, I'm trying to help them. I'm trying to be like, oh, no, that's not how that works. Let me help you. But as I got older, it clicked. And I'm like, what they're doing is they're saving their own ego. They are emotionally balled up in this. And this is one of those things that people just know they're good at, even though they've never done it. Like, you've met those people, you'll say something, they'll be like, oh yeah, I'm good at that. How long have you done it? Have you ever done it? No? How the hell do you know you're good at it? This is just one of those things that everybody does. Everybody. You'll meet a dude who looks like his comfort zone is staying in a dark room reading a book, never been outside, total nerd. Caveat, I don't care, your life, handle your business. But you'll meet these people and you're like, that dude would never fight. He would curl up, turtle up, and get just beaten if he was in a fight. But you talk to him and he will tell you what a badass he is. And you'll be like, what? They just do. Everybody, it's just one of those things. Everybody thinks they're a fighter. Everybody thinks they're just the greatest that's ever lived. What? So as I got older, I got the realization that that's what's happening. So I'm like, okay, obviously they're just saving their ego. And I just kind of roll my eyes in my head, right? Get that mental picture, the hard eye roll, and go, oh, okay, and then move on. Because there's no conversation that's going to happen now. You know, because you have those people, the rare ones, that go, oh, really? How long have you trained? That's interesting. I've actually been thinking about training, blah, blah, blah. Those are very rare. Like 1 out of 10, maybe. The other 9, oh yeah? Well, I'm crazy. When I get mad, I black out and people get hurt. I just don't even know what to tell you. So what I've started doing, and I'll tell you the last time this happened fairly recently. I mean, it happens so much. Like, I just can't even explain to you. If you're not a martial artist, it is constant. And it's not just me. I've talked to other martial artists. They get it too. But because I actively ask about other people's hobbies and lives and things, and they ask me, I get it a lot. And I don't know if it's more than most, but it's a lot. And so what I started doing is beating that ego down, but doing it nicely, right? So what I'll tell you about the last guy. So I'm meeting this guy. What's your hobbies? He tells me. He asks what I do. And I say, oh, I'm a martial artist. I actually teach karate. This fool straight up tells me oh yeah, well, you know what? I've been in a lot of fights and I've never lost one. Man, when I get mad, people get hurt. And I'm like, oh. Cue first response. And I go, oh, how long have you trained? When I ask people that now that I do that, it is so funny because I only get one response. Only one. There's not two, there's not three, there's not 40. One. You never have the guy who's actually trained. You never get a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guy or a Kung Fu guy or karate. You never get these people going, when I get mad, people get hurt. Never. It's never once happened. So one response. And I always ask, and they always say, well, I mean, I've never trained, but I've never lost a fight. Oh, okay. Some will shut down then. Like, I've never trained. You've never trained? At all? How do you know you're good? And they'll usually shut down because you just caught them in their lie that they're telling themselves. They're not telling you, they're telling them to themselves. And once they realize, I do this 3 days a week, you do this 0. I've done this, let's say you do it 2 times a week. I've trained 104 times to your 0. Like, just it's so funny to see their minds explode. But inevitably you'll get those guys that just their ego can't handle it. And they'll be all like, yeah, but I've never lost a fight. Here's my response to that. And it's almost guaranteed to. Like, I've had a couple different responses, but it's super funny to see the response. So they'll inevitably say, well, I've never lost a fight. And I'll go, oh, how many outside of high school? And they'll be like, what? And I'm like, anything before you graduated high school doesn't count. How many people have you fought and been in fights with since high school? And inevitably, most of them 0, because most full-grown adults don't fight that much. I mean, I've been in a few, and honestly, some of those are probably my fault, and I've learned from them. But the reality is most people, as an adult, don't get in fights. I mean, they just don't. So, how many has been since high school? And then you'll get this response. Well, I mean, none. Oh, so you've never fought an adult. You've only beaten children. That's what you're going to tell me? Is you're such a great fighter you can beat up children? It blows their mind because they've never once thought of it that way. They might have been 14 and they fought another 14-year-old or a 15-year-old. Well, that's cute, but you've never fought anyone besides a child. Most people can beat a child. And if you say it like that, it blows their mind. And they're like, no, I was 14 when I fought him. You fought a child. So, if you don't know, just so you know, anyone who's ever been in a fight as a child and been in a fight as an adult will tell you they're not the same thing. Not even a little bit. They're not like, oh, well, Jimmy in the 10th grade, man, he gave me a run for my money. No, that's not how it happens. Jimmy in 10th grade popped you in your face probably, then stood around laughing and try to kick you while you're down and make a joke and bully you. Jim Bob on the street doesn't care if you go home that night. They're just not the same. The level of violence is not the same. The level of power, level of damage, level of muscle is just not the same. It's literally like fighting a child versus a man. They're just not the same. So anyone who's ever fought both will know. So I drop that on them, and they'll be like, well, but I fought 15 times and never lost. Yeah, you never lost against a child. How many adults have you fought? How many of those adults that you fought train? 0. So I've had a couple people tell me, oh yeah, well, I've had 2 fights as an adult. Oh, and you won. That's excellent. How long had they trained? Well, they don't know, or 0. That's the answer. Because the reality is that they train, most likely they're not in the situation that they're fighting, because most martial artists don't get in fights. They know how to avoid it. And 2, if they do get in a fight, they beat the tar out of the other person because they know how to fight and the other person doesn't. Any other aspect, to bring this home, sorry, there's a little bit of a rant. Any other scenario, no one else thinks like this. No one thinks like this in any other scenario, right? Well, are you a good fighter? Of course I'm a good fighter. Look at me. Okay. Are you a good carpenter? Just there's no other aspect, right? I need to put money down, right? I have something in my house that needs fixed. I'm going to come in. I need you to fix it. Okay. Who am I giving my money to? Dude over here, Dude A, who's used a saw before. I mean, he was 7 when he did it, but he's used a saw before. Or guy B over here, who does this every day, has certifications in it. I can physically see he has the tools and knowledge. Which one? A, who's used a saw before when he was a child, or B, who uses it currently, right now, used it today. It's so absurd. In any other aspect of our lives, it is so baffling that someone would be so arrogant to go, yeah, I'm a great fighter because I did it 4 times when I was 10. Versus someone who physically goes in and trains to fight multiple times a week. I mean, wow. Just wow. So anyway, hopefully you don't run into these people, but you will. Just, in my experience, you will. And I live in a decent area. People are usually pretty nice. But this one thing, man, everybody's a fighter. Everybody. It's amazing. I'm surrounded at all times by fighters. Except for they've never fought. Not once, not ever. Or they've only fought children. Anyway, that's the video today. Hope you liked it. Hope you liked the story. Hope you found it informational. If you liked the video, please like, comment, subscribe. And don't forget to hit that notification bell in the corner so you know when videos are posted each week. And, as always, the more you train, easier the fight.